So, hello everyone. In this part, chapter 2 of microeconomics, we are beginning. It is about the theory of consumer behavior. So, what is problem of choice? Problem of choice is how a consumer is deciding how he has to spend his income on different combination of goods. Okay? Means what should be the most valuable combination of goods that he must purchase in his budget range. Okay? Whatever the consumer likes is called his preference, and there are two types of approaches which we are going to understand in this chapter. One is the cardinal utility analysis, which was given by Alfred Marshall, and other is the ordinal utility analysis, which was given by J.R. Higgs. um, Apart from this, whatever kind of two bundles two goods, the combination of two goods that that guy is purchasing on his income is called a bundle. Okay, let's say with 100 rupees a guy is able to buy 10 bananas and 2 mangoes, so that is one bundle. Okay, what we really mean by utility is how much satisfaction he is getting from buying that thing or having that thing. Okay, let's say when you buy an electric guitar, okay, it makes you immensely happy. But that can differ for different people. People who don't know how to play a guitar, and if they get an electric guitar, it may vary for them. And somebody who is a music enthusiast, that satisfaction will be different for them. Okay? So, what I mean is, utility is subjective, it is going to be different for different people. Now, this subjective thing also depends on two things. Okay? One is how much is the fondness of that person. Okay, and second is the time and place. Let's see, here is the good example for this. Time and place का मतलब ये है कि if a person is in Ladakh or Chennai, how much of utility is a room heater going to give him, depending also on if it is summer or winter. Okay, another good example is water. For somebody who lives on the beach or who lives just next to a river, for them, the utility of one packaged bottle is very much less when we compare it to somebody who is in Sahara Desert. In Sahara Desert, you do not see water sources. So, for that person, the utility of one bottle is much higher. Do you understand? What we really mean to say is the fulfillness that that bottle is going to give is much higher to the Sahara guy. Alright? So now coming to cardinal utility analysis. This was given by Alfred Marshall. Okay? Alfred Marshall was one of the initial economists who gave us the theories on microeconomics. Okay? As you can say, cardinal. Cardinal means something which we can tell in form of numbers. Okay, so in the cardinal utility analysis it says how much utility we are getting from possessing one thing. So it's saying, it's quantifying it in terms of numbers. It's telling you, okay, 50 units, okay, etc. So now in real time it is very difficult. It's just like asking a kid, how much do you love your parents? And then he replies, I love them 100 units, or I love them 10 units. Okay? So you cannot tell how you feel. what is the level of satisfaction, or what is the internal feeling. We cannot quantify them. This is one of the shortcomings of cardinal utility analysis, over which the ordinal utility analysis is built, which says we can only compare them. We'll talk about this further. Right now, let's see the measures of utility. So one is total utility. Total utility means the total utility of a fixed quantity of the commodity that we are getting. Okay, more of the commodity X provides more satisfaction to the consumer. So total utility depends on quantity of commodity consumed. You should always remember that total utility will always be a positive number. Okay, now you can see another concept is your marginal utility. We can see total utility from this one. Okay, here first unit we are getting total utility, say 12. Another one we are getting 18. By the third one our utility is increasing like 22, 24, 24, 22. Okay, but it's still positive. Okay, now marginal utility analysis tells us how much more do we want this certain commodity. Okay, it's like if we have already consumed 4 units, so how much more is our willingness, is our inner desire of want, that we want a fifth unit as well. Okay, so basically marginal utility is the additional consumption, the utility possessed due to additional consumption. Okay, one additional unit ka consumption. Okay, you will understand it via a small example which I'm going to give you here. Let's say we have, let's see this diagram here. Okay, when we started off in the beginning, the first unit gave us 12 utilities. The second one gave us 18 utilities. But the third one gave us 22, fourth also 24. Fourth and fifth have the same kind of utility, right? So on going from fourth unit to fifth unit, it doesn't change much of our desire to possess it. Okay, there is not much difference. We'll understand it here. Between the first and the second unit, the second unit is giving us 6 additional utilities. The first one was giving us 12. Okay, that's a 50% drop, right? The third unit is giving us 4 units only. A very good example is when we eat first unit of momos. Okay, when we eat our first unit momo, we feel very contented, very happy. Okay, second unit not as good as the first one. Third unit, all right. Fourth unit is fine, fine. By the fifth and sixth unit, we are just done. Okay, by the fifth unit, we are like, okay, doesn't make it any better. And in the sixth unit, you are like, I don't want anymore, because now it is, maybe my stomach is full. Maybe I just don't want it. I just don't want to possess it because I'm feeling like puking. So this is the reason that there is a negative utility attached to it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So eventually, what you see is it's going down. Okay, so marginal utility can be positive, can be negative, and can be zero also. Okay, whereas total utility will always be a positive thing, but where we see it in from the data, we understand that it is increasing in a decreasing manner. Like yahan tak what increase we are getting from first unit to second unit is not the same increase we are getting from second unit to third unit. Okay, it's only increasing by 4, it's only increasing by 2 next. Had it been in an increasing manner, it would have only increased in an increasing number. Let's say from 12 to 18, it's giving us a 6 unit difference. Had it been an increasing curve, it should have been plus 7, plus 8, plus 9, plus 10. Okay? but it's decreasing, right? Thus, from all of this data, we understand that this sort of structure is being formed. This is the curve. Okay, now let's read on what has been written more on your marginal utility. Usually, it is seen that marginal utility diminishes with increase in consumption of the commodity. This happens because having obtained some amount of commodity, the desire for consumer to have still more of it weakens. Okay? This tendency is called through the law of diminishing marginal returns or diminishing marginal utility. Okay? Not returns. You may also notice that total utility increases at a diminishing rate. Like, do you see? Had it been an increasing rate, it would have gone straight up here, like SA. But it's increasing and then it is falling, right? So it's in a decreasing manner. Okay. Now it's saying where our marginal utility is becoming zero at this fifth commodity bundle, it's saying that the total utility is constant. Just remember it. There are many times where they ask it when the marginal utility is zero, the total utility is what? So you'll simply say constant. All right? All of this makes us come to one strong conclusion about demand curve, that due to the law of diminishing marginal returns, the demand curve will be a downward sloping curve. Okay? Now demand curve tells us about the price and the quantity relationship, and it is an inverse relationship. Okay, because it is a downward sloping curve and inverse in the manner that if price increases, the willingness to possess it just falls. Okay, and if the price is less, the willingness to possess it is more, and so the quantity demanded is more. So here we can see that demand for commodity depends on factors such as price of other commodities. I'll talk about this as well. Income of consumer, taste and preferences of the consumer. Okay. Now, price of other commodity means that if there is a competitor of the same product in the market, say Pepsi and Coke. Okay, these two commodities that are in the market. If the price of Pepsi increases, that is going to lead to one important thing, that the demand for Pepsi will fall. And the other important change that will happen to Coke is because Pepsi's price is rising and people have to consume something, so they will go to Coke. So Coke's demand will rise. Okay, so such goods are called substitutes of each other. Okay, substitute is very axiomatic by the name that if people don't want to have this product, there is another option available to them. Whereas complements are those goods which are consumed together. A good example of this is the sale of Pilot V5 and its ink. Nobody is going to purchase the ink if they don't have their pen, right? So the cartridge's demand is actually proportionate to the demand of the pen itself. So this is the complementary relationship of the goods, right? The income of consumer. Income of consumer is another factor because if the income increases, so the demand curve is going to shift ahead. It's going to go like this. Okay? It's going to go forward because now for the same price, we can have more of the quantity because we have more income in our hand, right? The other factor is taste and preferences, that suddenly if somebody changes the quality of the product, so the consumer base may fall and this curve may shift. Okay, thus the demand curve is a graphical representation of the willingness to buy at different prices of the same commodity. Okay, so when we are making a demand curve, there are two things which are constant: is the income. First is the income, and the price of the other commodities. Okay, only with that we can form one sort of a demand curve. Rest, if you don't keep them constant, we are going to have multiple demand curves for the multiple situations. Okay, so overall law of demand says that the negative relationship between price and commodity is law of demand. Now further it is also saying that law of diminishing marginal utility is the prime reason for the downsloping curve, because as we consume more commodity, the marginal utility of the product it falls, and that is why we eventually tend to pay less for more of the quantity. Okay, now I'll just sum it up once again. I'll sum up the law of DMU for you, and the law of demand as well. Due to operational law of DMU, uh, we see that with the increase in quantity, our willingness to possess more and more of that quantity falls, and that is why we pay lesser with the more quantity. With more quantity, the price falls. So, this is the prime reason. In the next video, we will begin with ordinal utility analysis, and until then.